Aha, Winnie. Yes, that's what I've heard, Winnie. Okay, so some folks are saying they were unsubscribed from False if she wins mayor. Okay. Let's be clear here, okay? Inside a Hermitcraft, we're all a group of friends. And if I were to do something on the server and find out that it meant that people were being mean to someone else, that would make me feel bad. It would make me feel bad. And I know that Green and Mumbo probably feel the same way. And this whole Mumbo for Mayor thing, I think people are missing the point. It's about us as a group having fun together. Mumbo running for mayor is fun for all of us. Other people getting involved as well. It's fun, it's shenanigans, it's a reason to play together and have a good time. And so this idea of unsubscribing from someone who wins because you're invested in that person winning misses the point. We're going to have fun whoever wins. It's not about one person winning. And if you're one of these people who has done this, just think it over. Why would you want to go and say these things on behalf of the person you think you want to win, right? Like, you're going to make them feel bad when they hear that their friend is being harassed over something that they're doing together, right? Because, you know, we're a server, we're a group. If something like a mayor race happens on the server, we're all a part of it. You know, I'm doing my little reporting. Other people are running as well for this position of mayor. It's a group thing. We're a group. We're friends. We do this together because we enjoy it. And behaving and acting that way can make it unenjoyable, you know? So it's a small percentage of people as well. It's a really tiny percent. But all it takes online when you got hundreds of thousands of people watching and enjoying videos and having a good time and being reasonable and respectable, just takes a couple of those people to think different and to shout, and then it can be harassment, you know? So I guess this, you know, a lot of you looking at chat clearly are mature enough to understand all of this stuff. If you're not, if you're one of those people posting messages like that, I'm not entirely sure what to say other than just realize that we're friends and you're saying that to someone's friend, okay? Mumbo actually wants people to compete with him. That's why he challenged Stress to run as well, says Delataxia. Yeah, exactly. It's fun. It's fun for us. It's not about who wins. It's about the journey, which is often the case with many things in life. You know, it's about having fun. Let's say we made a competition on the server, right? Me and Mumbo or whatever, we're going to like, who can mine the most redstone blocks? Right? If he wins, if I win, for both of us, you'll probably find we don't care that much about actually winning. It's the fun of the journey, the fun of the shenanigans and the things that happen along the way. That's why these things happen on this server, because they're fun to do with friends. And so then when someone takes it too seriously and starts to throw around insults and be mean, it removes the fun for us. The people who you think you might be speaking on behalf of. You'll be spoiling the fun for us, because, you know, now it's like, now we've got this to deal with, people being mean and rude. Like, it's not cool. Anyway, I'm looking, I've got my eye on chat, people, just to, as always, I like to try and pick out an opposing opinion. But it feels like 99% of people are pretty much agreeing. Is False okay? I hope she is. I haven't spoken to her too much, you know. We're adults. We understand that the people doing this are probably emotionally stunted or children, or, you know, have their own issues that they're taking out in, you know. When people act mean, there's usually a reason behind it. Now, sometimes you say they're children because that's what children do. They act mean. They're young people that are still figuring out how to be a person, right? But, you know, if they're not a child and they're acting that way, there's probably a reason why. There's usually a reason why people behave and do the things they do. And more often than not, those stem from things like abuse or suffering or emotional inadequacies that these people are going through anyway. So a lot of you are saying like, oh, it's just children. And you might be right, it might just be young, immature children. But let's say it's not, because I've encountered people doing things like that online where I'm like, yeah, you'd expect that from a child, but from someone of your age, not. And what you'll find is there's usually like reason and motive behind. You know, people don't act mindlessly, and it's usually a reason that could provoke some compassion, because I don't think people do mean and evil things just out of thin air. I think there's usually some suffering of their own that they're now letting out onto someone else, right? Sigma Squared says people get invested in their favorites. It becomes part of their identity. Yeah, that's really well worded. So that's another psychological way to look at this, and it's one of the things that I try to address a little bit and probably don't do too good a job. But like the last stream we were over here, someone was like asking for a shout out and saying other things that reminded me kind of that, right? Like you get your personality attached to someone else's, and I don't want to encourage that at all. I think it's really important to be aware of the parasocial relationship that you have with someone online, okay? Like, this is a friendly place, it's a friendly environment, but IRL, we are strangers, you and I. We are complete strangers. And online relationships are different from in-person relationships, and more so are parasocial ones, where it's one-way interaction. That's what you're experiencing right now. A one-way interaction from me to you. It's something to be kept in mind and something to know about. You can enjoy this the same way. You can have as much fun being here and whatnot, but you should just be aware of it. Because you hear these crazy stories every now and then of like someone turning up at someone's house, and it's because of that lack of understanding that this is like a parasocial interaction. Bullies are often or have been bullied, says Tenara. Yep, that's a really great example. That is so common, you know, that people who bully have been bullied themselves. Isn't it unisocial, not parasocial? I've never heard the term unisocial before. Parasocial is the term I've heard many times again to describe what I do or the environment that I'm operating within, you know. Streaming, making videos, I hear it referred to as parasocial very often. Hermitcraft, a group of friends who challenge each other with friendly competitions, competitive banter in a fun and creative way that helps to better themselves. Yeah, Cheshire Chick, well put. I think it's weird that I feel to know you, but I am a complete stranger to you. It's also every character in a movie or on TV, etc., says Kroll, 1988. Yeah, that's the way of looking at it. Like, you get to know characters in a movie, right? It's a bit different because a movie, they're playing a character, but it's also kind of similar, right? Like, I'm not the same. I'm not identical to what's happening right now, IRL. Okay, this is my streaming time. This is when I do my streaming thing. It's not the same, and that can be hard for some people to like get their head around. Sometimes that's fine, you know. Thank you for talking about that subject, X. I feel it needed to be talked about, says the Jaffa Thief. Yeah, it does, and I'm sure you'll hear some of the other hermits talking about it as well, because we don't want one of our friends to get harassed, of course. When people are mean to others, it's due to their own securities. As a person who is happy with themselves, I have no need to put others down to feel better about themselves. False has done nothing wrong, and this must be hard for her, so I urge you all to drown out the bullies with support. That's a fantastic idea right there. Well said. And yeah, you know... And by the way, don't harass the people who harass. Lead by example. Lead by example. I think that's such a great way to think about things. What was it that MJ said? Take a look in the mirror and change yourself. You know, like, be the difference you want to see in the world. So often do you encounter, like, things where people are perhaps moaning or complaining or pointing out something that's you probably agree with is like wrong or trashy or not the right way to do things, but be the example, walk the different line, you know. Lockheed in the UK with the cheers and bits, hashtag symmetry support. That's the attitude right there. That's the attitude. That's what we got started about, right? You know, don't go harassing the harassers. That's one thing that rarely helps. They're probably already not really understanding what the right sort of etiquette is, right? And they're probably not going to respond very well to someone telling them different. Tends to be how it goes.